All right,
Okay,
moving
my
on.
friend, we're going to move on to Sunday games, to Sheffield United, Bramall Lane, home to Manchester City. Sheffield United team under Paul Heckingbottom, who said, I think physicality was going to be the kind of buzzword for them in terms of, listen, they're better than us, they have more technical ability than us, we're going to be well set up, we're going to be deep, and we're going to be physical. And they were, and they made it difficult for City for long periods.
They did, and I think 3 central defenders that were absolutely ready to be physical and aggressive with Big Earle and Haaland.
Yeah.
They roughed him up plenty of times, and we did a couple of analysis where, like, this is kind of close to a penalty, by the way, you know,
Right
and
on
they
the edge,
got
innit?
it right on the edge, and that's what. If you're Paul Heckingbottom, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Guys, play on the edge with him. Be smart. Don't give anything away, but you got to get really tight. And there was many occasions.
Conversation.
And then of course, the camera goes on in his face, Ireland, and I tell you what, Rob, he's got a good mentality.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
And he got a good mentality.
I wondered, Rob, at half time, I thought, it looks a bit like they're getting to him. I'm going to see what he's like.
He misses the penalty.
He misses the penalty that's big, and the fans are starting and maybe wanting to chirping in his ear. And I'm thinking, a little test for him, because he's still a young man, Rob, in many respects.
Yeah, and you'd said in the game, he's going to score.
Yeah.
And I tended to agree, but because if that's let me just do a comparison, right, a real quick one. If that's a Richarlison.
Yeah. Why did I know you were going to say it? Yeah.
I mean,
or Luis Suarez, or Diego Costa.
Right.
Or there's a certain type of centre forward.
Absolutely right. And you looked at his face, because we've got plenty of looks at his face, and his eyes were like, wow, this is really happening to me. Okay. Yeah. And his focus was still there, Rob, and I love that. Yeah. I love that emotional control. Yeah. That's the best way. Yeah. And like, I'm not gonna fight you or get frustrated or get sent off or I'm gonna keep doing my thing. And he takes his header beautifully. Fair play to Jack Grealish on the first goal. Good bit of skill, because he frustrated me in the game, Grealish, which he does at times where he gets the ball and he comes back so many times instead of backing himself to go down the line and cross it or put it back or whatever. And he did it brilliantly. Brilliant little dink ball for Haaland to score. That was the first goal, wasn't it? After 63 minutes to get them back, or to get them 1-0 up. Yeah. And then Bogle scores.
And then, Sheffield United come back in the game, make a couple of substitutes. Bernie comes on, Bogle comes on. All of a sudden, they're having a go. Yeah. He smashes one in that was all stuff going on. So Walker decides decides to do a back heel in his box, which, by the way, if Pep's at the game, he never does. He never does that. If Pep's at the game, by the way, or he's off the pitch. He then ends up ending off the pitch,
and he was annoyed with himself. He sat there like, oh no, what's happened?
Which means, because he's in that position, no Sheffield United forward can be deemed offside, because it's now a player
he's deemed
and a goal
as being on the goal line when he's off the field.
And he's off the field. So when the shot comes in and McBurney's close and probably impedes Ederson in an offside position, the flag doesn't go up because Walker's there. And Walker's reaction after was goals, wasn't it? Kicking the hoardings and mad with himself. Yeah. But also, Sheffield United back in the game, at home at Bramall Lane, we're talking a whole different thing.
And with a game that the general pattern of it looked as one-sided as I've seen for a long time. We also the quality levels. Now, we've seen bigger scorelines, obviously. Yeah. But just in general, like, how are Sheffield United going to even
get... They didn't even have a shot, did they? They didn't have a shot
attacking final third. They did hardly anything. So the fact that they got back into it was pretty amazing. And then fair play to Kyle Walker. Yeah. Does a good job on that far side. Wins the ball back.
Yeah. And then he crosses it in. Foden takes a little bit of a bad touch. And there's our guy. There's Superman, by the way. Yeah. There's Superman.
He's Superman. Yeah, he is.
Rodri.
Different
big
class.
moment. You need something. Big left boot. Bang. Goal. Win.
Talking point. Kevin De Bruyne is out for 4 or 5 months.
I knew we were going to go.
Well, we've got to go there.
Yeah, because I was going to ask.
The last weekend was against Newcastle, wasn't it? Phil Foden was unplayable. Yeah. And the connections, multiple, like 4 or 5, slide into Haaland, who should have done a bit better with some of them.
Absolutely.
Make me understand why he's not like... So Jack Grealish is like a permanent fixture on the left-hand side. Phil Foden seems to have to fight for time. Now, listen, I apologise if there's something that he's got a knock or a little niggle or something that kept him... Yeah. But he's got to be, particularly in the absence of Kevin De Bruyne, is he, Robbie Earle, a guaranteed starter when in this situation?
Guaranteed starter... I suppose the answer would be no. If I answer your question, no. Let me tell you why today. Let me tell you why today. I think. Let's say he isn't injured and there's nothing more than it's a tactical
decision. Okay.
Let me say it's more than a tactical
Go
decision.
on, persuade me.
We're playing Sheffield United. They're going to sit deep. They're going to be physical, like they are with Holland on Foden. I know you're shaking your head. You asked me. I'm giving. I'm going.
I'm staying quiet.
Yeah. He's. I'm just not. I can't afford him to take a knock. I can't afford him to get. I can't afford him to get injured in that game because I'll lose. Bear with me,
right,
Robbie Mustoe. Bear with me. I'm trying to give you. I would play him, and if he would play, but I'm trying to think why you didn't, and I can bring him on with 30 minutes to go, where he can open up the game and win it for us. And next week we're playing, and he'll be fine. That's the only thing I can think of. It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get my head around it's a physical game. We don't need Phil Foden. The Premier League now it's physical with those big defenders and the big players. But his ability to get in between. I mean, Newcastle United are the most physical.
But it was a different game though today. There wasn't. I mean, Sheffield United could have put them in it. Yeah, it was tight. It was 30 yards between the lines. Yeah. So I think the other thing I'd say, Rob, and to your point, and you make a good point on air. No De Bruyne and no Foden lack creativity. Yeah. Good point. Well done. And I totally agree. Where I don't disagree is that Man City can win games in so many different ways. And today wasn't a creativity day. It wasn't a passing day. They weren't great at all the normal things. I mean, they had the ball, basically, because Sheffield United couldn't. But they got big other grits, Rob. And Rodri gets
they find ways.
Diaz chucks himself in front of a ball, mate, and gets it smacked in his chest and roars, and they can find other. That's why they're great champions.
I know.
You know, today wasn't their football. Today wasn't a Foden day or a De Bruyne day because one wasn't playing and one's injured. But they still won 2-1 away, which Arsenal right now would have drawn that game.
Yeah. Would you say though that they can't, that winning that other way, which I agree.
Yeah.
That week after week after week, that becomes harder? Or do you still believe that whatever the week it is, they'll find a way? Whether it's Grealish, whether it's flipping Bernie Silva does something crazy.
I just see him sitting top of the table, right? Three wins in 3, when everybody else has got, the 7s and the 6s and the 5s have had their off day and didn't get full points. These can have their off day. And by the way, if you want to come and play with us and open the game up, then we'll see another Man City.
No, I think when you win the treble, right, you've got to have goal scorer, creativity, spirit, character, bounce back ability, durability, physicality. They're a giant team. We saw them at Burnley, mate. I walked alongside the pitch and I saw Nathan Ake, who looks from our normal on the TV,
average guy,
giant, broad, let alone Rodri. I mean, Rodri's like, what's he, 6'4" or something? Built like a...
Looks like an NFL player, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's the physicality in that team as well. And I think Stephen Warnock mentioned it, to be fair, on the things that...
Down the centre of the pitch, you've got Haaland, you've got Rodri, you've got Diaz.
Guardiola, the new kid who's a beast as well.
You've got Walker, who's a beast out there. You've got goalkeeper who comes and...
Yeah,
they found another way. And there was no Pep today, and people were looking at maybe no Pep on the side. It wasn't a perfect day by any means, but it's a massive 3 points for City.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.